The queen lost a daughter years ago, and a human just brought her home. The universe had stopped expanding, or at least that's what the scientists said. Every star chart showed a strange, inward pull, as if reality itself were folding back towards something it had lost. To most people, it was just another cosmic anomaly. To Captain Juno Vale, it was a map. Juno had spent her entire life chasing what other pilots called ghosts, echoes in the quantum background that didn't belong to any known civilization. When she was a cadet, she'd heard a story whispered in the space academies, that somewhere beyond the Orion Rift there had been a kingdom ruled by a queen who could speak to gravity itself. Her empire, Larithia, vanished in one night. No war, no supernova, just gone. Only one fragment of transmission remained from that event, a cry that rippled through the centuries. The queen has lost her child. The stars will not rest until she is found. It became a legend, but Juno never forgot it. 20 years later, she was flying through the dark void between galaxies in a rusting freighter named Nomad. Her ship's AI, Rex, interrupted her thoughts. "Captain," it said, "we've intercepted an energy wave. Old. Non-human. Frequency matches the Larithian spectrum." Juno's pulse jumped. How old? Roughly 2 centuries. But there's something stranger. There's a biological signal embedded in it. A heartbeat. The coordinates pointed toward the eclipse field, a stretch of broken planets where time bent in unpredictable ways. Everyone avoided it. Even light seemed to crawl there. But Juno didn't hesitate. She followed the signal through collapsing gravity wells until she found a drifting shard of what once must have been a palace, frozen in orbit around a black star. There, inside a translucent crystal pod, she found her. The figure looked human almost, skin faintly silver, eyes closed, hair flowing like threads of liquid gold. The pod system still hummed after centuries, powered by an impossible energy source. The readouts spelled one word in a dying alien language: Ariel. Juno whispered the name. The pod responded. Its surface glowed, then cracked open with a sigh that echoed like wind through glass. The girl's eyes flickered open. They weren't human at all. They shimmered with galaxies. Where's my mother?" she asked. Juno froze. "Who's your mother?" The girl's lips trembled. "Queen Marin of Larithia." Juno didn't breathe for a full 10 seconds. The legends were true. She had just woken the lost princess of a vanished empire. Juno brought Ariel aboard Nomad and set course for home, but space itself began to rebel. Gravity storms formed behind them. The stars shifted position as if trying to follow. Rex ran diagnostics, voice growing uneasy. "Captain, her vitals are broadcasting on every subspace channel. Something out there just noticed she's alive." "What kind of something?" Juno asked. "The kind that eats galaxies." The girl sat quietly in the corner, her gaze unfocused. "They were my mother's wardens," she murmured. "When the queen tried to hide me, she shattered her crown and scattered its fragments across space. They followed the pieces. They want me because I am the key." Juno looked out the viewport. In the distance, a black swarm was forming, ships shaped like knives of obsidian, moving without propulsion. The Harbingers. Every story said they were the machines that ended Larithia. Every sensor now said they were coming straight for Nomad. Juno pushed the thrusters to maximum burn, but a voice filled the cockpit, low and thunderous, resonating in her bones. "Return the heir." Ariel stood, unafraid. "They can't touch us if you trust me." Juno stared at her. "What are you going to do?" "Remind them who I am." The ship's hull lit up with streams of light as Ariel pressed her palms to the metal. The stars outside bent. The black swarm slowed, and for an instant, Every harbinger ship froze in place like statues carved from night. Then they vanished, pulled backward through a rift of their own creation. Rex's voice stuttered back to life. Captain, that shouldn't be possible. Juno looked at Ariel. You just bent reality. The girl smiled faintly. I am my mother's daughter. But power always has a cost. Ariel collapsed, her body flickering like a dying hologram. Juno caught her and felt cold energy pulse through her hands. Stay with me, she shouted. Ariel's voice was faint. She's calling me. I hear her through the stars. Who? My mother. The Queen. She's not dead. She's waiting beyond the fold. Rex scanned the coordinates transmitted from Ariel's skin. Captain, those coordinates lead to the null spiral. Nothing comes back from there. Juno grinned. Then let's make history. They jumped. For a moment, the universe disappeared. No stars. No time. Only silence. Then a light appeared ahead, massive, golden, shaped like a throne. And sitting upon it was the Queen. She was breathtaking. Half woman, half nebula, her body composed of swirling light. But her eyes burned with grief older than any sun. You've brought her home, the Queen said softly, voice vibrating through the ship's metal. You, human, you crossed the void. Juno lowered her weapon instinctively. Your daughter's alive because of you. She guided me. The Queen smiled sadly. No, child. You misunderstand. I have been gone for centuries. What you brought is what remains of her. Juno turned in confusion, but Ariel was no longer breathing. Her body dissolved into light particles that drifted toward the Queen. She was my echo, the Queen said, a fragment of the child I lost. When my empire fell, I split her essence across the dimensions, hoping one day someone kind enough would find her. Juno clenched her fists. Then what did I save? You saved the piece of her heart that remembered love, the Queen whispered. And in finding her, you awakened me. The throne brightened. Energy surged outward, creating ripples through space. Juno's ship shook violently. What are you doing? She shouted. The Queen's expression hardened. Larithia's enemies still linger. The harbingers were only shadows. The true devourer, the singularity mind, awakens. I must rise again, and for that, I must reclaim what was lost. Ariel's light wrapped around the Queen, merging with her. The Queen's body stabilized, glowing brighter until it hurt to look at her. Thank you, human, she said. But you must leave now. Juno shook her head. You'll destroy yourself. I already did once. The Queen replied with a sad smile. This time, I'll finish the story. She raised her hand. A pulse of golden fire erupted, tearing the null spiral apart. Juno's ship was hurled back through the rift, tumbling through collapsing dimensions until it spat out into normal space. When she regained control, Rex's sensors showed something impossible. The entire region where the spiral had been was gone, replaced by a newborn star. Brightened. And for the first time in recorded history, the pole that had been collapsing space reversed. The cosmos began to expand again. She did it, Juno whispered. She remade herself. A faint voice answered over the comms. It was Ariel's. Home isn't a place, Juno. It's whoever brings you back to the light. Juno's hand shook. Ariel? I'm everywhere now. Tell them the Queen found her daughter. And tell them humanity is no longer alone. Then the transmission faded. Years passed. The star the Queen created became a sanctuary world. Pilots who flew too close reported seeing visions in the light. Two figures, one adult, one child, walking hand in hand through fields of silver grass. Juno never stopped flying. She named her next ship Ariel's Heart and painted its hull with a single golden symbol, the crest of Larithia. Every jump she made carried the faint echo of a voice in her mind, guiding her toward distant galaxies where lost things waited to be found. Sometimes, when she closed her eyes, she could still hear the Queen's final words. "The universe forgets nothing, Captain. It only hides what it loves the most." One night, decades later, the galaxies shifted again. Every telescope on Earth picked up a signal from the newborn star, a clear human voice singing across the void. The melody was gentle, ancient, and filled with power. Rex, still functioning after all those years, translated it automatically. "The Queen lost a daughter years ago, and a human brought her home." Juno smiled through tears. "You're welcome," she whispered. The universe seemed to exhale. The stars,